Okay, so something that, just to introduce myself, in case you don't know me, my name is Rabbi Zevi Weinberg. I'm the author of over 40 books. Not that really matters, but just to give myself some credibility to you. I've been a Chabad rabbi for many years, written over 100,000 blogs, and really that's all coming from a quest for the truth, which I have found not only in Judaism, but in Jewish mysticism particularly. And one of the ideas that came to me very clearly on Yom Kippur, which is a day that you have clarity of thought. There are 5 days a year that the Satan can't get involved in your mind. One of them is Yom Kippur. And I understood something which I really want to share to you. One of the facts of life is that if you can understand the facts of life, if you have a sense of what is reality, well, then you actually have a sense of your reality. And 99% of the problems that people face is because there is a misunderstanding of reality. That doesn't mean that somehow I'm better. It's just that it's human nature that we have a mind and we have a body. The body doesn't really need to understand much. It has feelings, emotions, instincts, but the mind can never be settled unless it understands, unless things make sense. If you live in a world that doesn't make sense, it's very disconcerting. And so ultimately, it all boils down to, as the Rebbe speaks about it, he speaks about this very, very often, but I never really understood why he spoke about it until literally in the past couple of days, it came to me with a very great clarity of what the Rebbe's talking about. The Rebbe's, in my opinion, the greatest master in human history. And so effectively, what the Rebbe is telling us is that there are three layers to reality. And if you understand these three layers, you pretty much understand everything because everything is in one of these three layers. And that's the beauty of understanding the three layers. Because once you can understand everything, or at least where everything is, suddenly everything begins to make sense. And it goes like this. The first layer of reality that we're used to is called Memali Kolaman, which is also associated with the name Elohim. It is God as he hides himself in nature, as he creates the specifics of nature. And everything in this world can be kind of boiled down to specifics. Location, time, place, soul, person, thing. Basically, you can give it a noun. And as long as you can give it a noun, you can describe it, it's limited, and it has a location, it has a description. And then there's, of course, the next level, which is a level which is infinitely beyond that, and that's called Soiviv Kolaman. He encompasses all of reality. This is God's energy that actually is beyond the specifics. This is the Torah. This is the information that is like, there's like a difference between, let's say, a computer program and then the specific page you're working on now. So that, Microsoft Word has many functions, and then there's what you're using this second. So really it can do everything that it can do, but right now you're doing one thing. And the same thing applies with life from the perspective of Safecom, and there's all potentials, and yet all potentials are still within a category of all potentials, because Safecom, even though it's beyond all of reality, it's still connected to our reality. It's the source of everything, but yet it is the source of everything. It is still connected to everything. And then you have a higher level, and this is Atmos. This is God himself, which, being God doesn't make him any greater that he made the world or he didn't make the world. For example, if I, as a human being, draw a line, and in that line, I don't know if you know this, you could subdivide it into infinite lines. You cut it in half, cut it in half, cut it in half, cut it in half. And yet, even though, let's say I just drew a infinite line, and that line could be a number, and you could have infinite numbers, and then maybe for the numbers make light. You can do infinite things with this, and yet it was just a line. That's all it was. It didn't make me any better or any worse. It was nothing. And the same thing, God making this world is just one sentence. It's one line. And it doesn't make him greater or less great, making or not making a universe. Now, obviously, compared to human, it's pretty great. But compared to God, it's nothing. It's just a line. Now, just imagine if you were one of those lines, maybe these infinite lines, and there was consciousness. You were like, oh, wow, you're my creator. And yet to you, it was just a line. And the same thing is the idea that we're precious is not because we're fundamentally, but because there's a choice that God made in us. He loves us fundamentally. And this is what this is what makes us valuable. His love for us, his, unconditional cherishedness of who we are. Now, of course, there's an aspect to us of his goodness itself, which makes us good intrinsically. But there's nothing else. There's no capacity that we have, which is really that great. Compared to infinite capacity, all of our capacities are a joke. They say the joke that Nietzsche, thought he was smart. He wrote, God is dead. And then on his tombstone, God wrote, Nietzsche is dead. All of our lives are just coming into existence every second from the source. Without the source, there would be no existence every single second. Quantum physics has proven this, that atoms come in and out of existence every single moment. So literally the universe comes in and out of existence on a moment-to-moment basis. But the point of this whole thing is that the dimension, which is beyond all dimensions, includes all dimensions. All dimensions come from him. And therefore he can merge both the name Yud-Keh Vav-Keh, the infinite name of God, and the finite creator kind of concept of God, Elohim. And putting these two names together creates a new dimension where you get infinity within the finite, where every single person now realizes that they're not only part of a finite structure, they're part of an infinite structure. You are part of God, and you are going to eternally grow. For it says, man is like a tree of a field. Each and every one of us is like a tree in God's garden. And the gardener is ensuring that we receive the information, whether you call it nutrients, whatever it is, to keep on growing more and more and some more. And every day, as the Baal Shem Tov revealed to us, the beginning of the Messianic age, that all of life is a continuous conversation with God. Every moment is a message, and every message is a moment. So, from now on, understand you're in the finite dimension, which is created by the infinite God, and beyond even what we would call the name of God that creates the finite dimension is the infinity of God, or we shouldn't even call it infinity, is God himself, the master of the infinite and the finite, who every moment makes it all. And he makes it all just so we, out of his pure unconditional love, can learn, can go deeper. People are trying to seek outer space. They're trying to seek the depths of the ocean. But the real infinity is your own heart, for it keeps on getting deeper and deeper.